sometimes that are not sanctioned even by the party. It's just a person, bad behavior, which should then be regulated through sanctions. The other matter in terms of entrenching of offices, we take cognizance of what the discussions are. And one of the issues we are raising is that for us to strengthen the Office of Registrar of Political Parties, we propose that the office be considered under Chapter 15 of the Constitution as an independent office under Chapter 15. We also propose increased funding because the mandate is big, but the fund is limited. In regards to establishment of the Office of Leader of Opposition to sit in Parliament and to be held by the presidential candidate of the party constitution or coalition that garners the second highest number of votes. We propose that this office be established. But we have one question: what if the candidate, the presidential candidate, is an independent candidate? To us, we propose that it should be a party, not an independent candidate. I don't know what the law will say if the second runners-up is an independent candidate. That's a question probably to put up for us as regulators of political parties. We want to insist that it should be from a political party. In regards to two-third gender rule, the OLPP supports the initiative of the executive on the two-third gender rule by establishing the multi-sectoral committee on gender, where OLPP is represented. We are members of that, so we shall go by the proposals that shall come from that multi-sectoral. However, we say that the establishment of two-third gender rule in the list of candidates for elections should be enforced. There was a ruling in the last general elections to enforce that. It was stopped by court midway, but we think the enforcement should come on board so that for any list of candidates a political party submit to the Electoral Commission, the list of candidates should meet not more than two-thirds of either gender. The next point is that we also propose, as other matters, under electoral justice, institutionalization of psychosocial support of candidates in the post-election phase to address the candidates who lose elections and also those who win. The candidates who lose go through devastating periods, and there's no systems to support the people who participate in election, yet they came out to really support governance and the democratic participation in elections. Then some of them go through very difficult moments, others go into depression, others go into situation to financial crisis and all that. At least psychosocial support for those ones. And for the winners, I think they should also be supported how to behave after winning, so that there's a bit of moderation so that we maintain national unity as far as after elections. Because winning also can be difficult. There are people who may not exactly know what to do with the win. They behave in a different manner. So it is important also to support those ones. So we also, the last point is that ORPP proposes fast tracking of the reconstitution of IEBC in order to avert possible constitutional crisis, as well as address critical outstanding processes. That is the end of our summary of presentation. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Madam Nderitu, and for that eloquent presentation.
Yeah.
Let me just, okay, sorry. Let me just go, then Waziri will come. This fund, the 0.3%.
Yes.
And I agree with you, if possible, we need to have it entrenched in the Constitution.
Yeah.
Okay? But do you think the non-compliance with this requirement can simply be attributed to the fact that this fund is not entrenched in the Constitution? That's not down.
Yeah.
What would happen even after entrenching it in the Constitution if a rural government refuses to comply? Yeah, because it's now more than how many years? 10 years or so since this law came into being. And the government has consistently declined to comply with the requirement to disburse these funds, even where the parliament actually appropriates the money. Okay? Okay? But more critically, it is never appropriated. I'm sure you know. Okay? As a result of sailing, so-called, and the money you guys here, you share our budget, and now it's the majority. So what has been the reason why this money is not availed? Please help us understand. If the cure is only in entrenching it in the Constitution. Finally, on my part, is the ORPP. It's a very critical office. Very critical. And in fact, if you ask me, I wouldn't mind having it entrenched in the Constitution. But it must be reminded that its purpose is to protect political parties. Because our democracy is still very young. And most of our parties are vulnerable. So they need to be protected. And the office is at the center of the protection of these parties, and indeed of multi-party democracy. What do you make of the presence of the Political Parties Liaison Committee? Do you think its role so far has been satisfactory? Do you think there are things we can do to have it strengthened? Do you think its structure is proper? Thank you.
Thank you very much. I think I want to agree with you that we need to consider